You're now tuned into the hottest podcast in the world, the Stay Woke Podcast, right here on the SonicBreakdown.com.
Man, it's time to wake up.
Welcome back to another Stay Woke Podcast. This is Dera Brinson, and you know the Stay Woke Podcast is presented by the SonicBreakdown.com. Head over there now and check out one of our reviews, as well as come back on every Tuesday and Thursday for a Could You Be More Specific episode with host Jonathan Steele. He talks about a variety of topics from society, culture, and more. So again, Tuesdays and Thursdays, check out Could You Be More Specific with host Jonathan Steele. Let's get right into today's episode. And today's episode is going to be another Let's Talk About It segment. And this segment, we're going to do actually a series called Trap Art Media Night. I was fortunate enough to go to and participate in an event in Oakland where several artists in a variety of mediums showcase their artwork. In this episode, we're going to specifically talking to two amazing artists, Adisa and Sarah Tina. Make sure to keep following us for the other artist interviews, and the last episode will be featured with the co-founder of Trap Art, Amina Brooks. Adisa, for those out there that don't know, he's an artist, painter, specifically in portraits, but I wanted to get into it and find out what brought you to this event tonight.
Oh man, I've been messing with Trap Art for probably 2 years now. Trap Art actually allowed me to do my first showing or showcase of my artwork. Gotcha. So ever since then, anytime they hit me up, man, I'm down.
They showed you love, so you showing them love back.
Always.
Got you. And I just want to get into a little bit about the specific art, like some of the work that I saw here, specifically the Biggie work. Mm-hmm. I really enjoy the colors and everything like that, as well as the textures that you added to it. What was the inspiration behind that outside of the music, but with the textures and the actual more design of it?
Okay, well, as far as the texture, I wanted to do something different. I wanted for people to actually see the big sign, and if you see it just on a camera or on a phone, you'll think it's drawn. Yeah. But once you get up in person and see it, you can actually see it's blocked.
Yeah. That's because I saw the picture of it on Instagram before I came to the event, and then I saw it today, and I was like, oh wow, that texture, it adds a difference to it. I can see what would draw my attention to it if it was on somebody's house or in that wall. You definitely want to I want to touch it. You know, it's because it adds that texture, that 3D effect to
People
it.
People touch it all the time.
No.
I was okay, but no. Then it's just a texture, and it kind of says his name big, so it sticks out. Yeah. So I wanted that big. I could have put Notorious or anything else, but I wanted the big to be really standing out, to really show who he was to me.
And I also like the fact of you have all that color and the amalgamation of colors, and then you have the black and white portrait as well, and that real photorealism in it made you want to capture both of those kind of components to it, as well as the texture, because all of it adds just so much visually, but it's not overwhelming to me, at least.
Great question. I actually the whole concept of it came from a Biggie line.
Gotcha.
So the bottom black and gray one came from the line. I went from ashy to classy.
Gotcha.
So the bottom one is kind of where he was still underground, still grimy, got the beanie on low. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's in black and gray. So when he went from ashy to classy, he put the Coogee sweater on.
With the Gucci shade or
Versace shades, rather, you know what I'm saying? So that really, once I hit that, once I seen it and put it all together, I was like, this is it.
Got you. And that's a great visual representation. And then, that's the great thing about talking to the artist and getting to know about that, because even though I saw it and it looks dope, but when you explain that ashy to classy, it makes so much sense. It instantly clicked because you, like you said, you see it. The gray tones that you have in the gray black and white photo gives you that kind of ash feel without even knowing it, and then it just instantly clicks. So I think that was pretty dope as well.
Appreciate it.
I wanted to also talk about the Muhammad Ali painting that I saw on Instagram as well.
Right.
That one is dope as well. Because that has so much imagery and it says so much without saying so much, especially with the times and how things are progressing in this country.
Oh man, I appreciate it.
How did that come about, and what was your inspiration for that one?
That came from what's really going on right now. It's I wanted to create a piece that spoke out. without words, without a bunch of. So I seen that picture of Muhammad Ali online. So I was like, okay, this is perfect. Mm-hmm. So when I added the kind of the American flag to the tape, and I tell people all the time, Ali wasn't always great in America.
Yeah.
America didn't always love him.
No, that's, yeah.
So
very
understand true. That. And so when people see it, they say, you know what? That is right. Like the picture or the painting just speak to so many people for so many reasons.
Gotcha. Yeah. And yeah, for me, I definitely, that imagery was, for those out there that don't know the Ali history, you know, he was stripped of his belt because he didn't want to join the army, and yep. They calling him draft dodger and everything like that. And it took away a good portion of his prime career. He could not box as a result of it. And in essence, they were trying to take his power, take everything, because he was such just a famous figure in yep. so many people's eyes, yep. you know, the champ, you know what I'm saying? And basically, America silenced him. And that's exactly what they did. They said, well, if you don't want to get down with our program, yep. we're going to take everything that we assume is dear to you. But, and you're right, exactly right, America was not as forgiving and as open to Muhammad Ali as they are now.
Oh, yeah.
It's revisionist history where that's how they feel, but it's not until recently that they started feeling that way about Muhammad Ali. Before that, he was a traitor.
To me, that was his protest.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like to see an athlete
mm-hmm.
really sacrifice.
Yeah.
So when I was thinking about Cap,
yeah,
that all came into line to what's going on right now.
No, definitely. And like I said, it's powerful, and it's powerful that you can capture that in art. And that's why events like this are so important so that people can showcase their art and so other people can see it. What are some other ways that people can get and find out your art?
Definitely hit me up on Instagram. That's like my number one thing right now. I don't have a website, but you can follow me on Instagram, Adisa_IO.
And we'll have that link in the description for everybody as well. So write that down, and if not, just click on the description in the tab below, and it'll take you right there. So, yeah.
I appreciate it, man.
No problem. And, again, we want to say thank you, and we appreciate your art, and keep painting, man. Keep going with it.
All right.
Take it easy. So we are here with Sarah Tina, and first of all, what brings you to trap art?
The one thing that stood out to me with trap art is that it's literally for the artists. There's no charge, and we keep all of our
sales
earnings. Yeah. So that always stood out to me. Also, Amina and her husband, they're like super personable. They're not like weird about anything. They're like really easy to talk to and approachable. They actually approached me on Instagram when I first started posting paintings.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it was kind of scary. It was like 3 years ago, I want to say, and I went for it, and this is like the only one that I actually do.
Gotcha.
Other people have asked, and I've done some, but they weren't as comfortable or welcoming as trap art.
And let's start out from the beginning, just to let the people out there know you're an overall artist, you're a creator. I would classify you as that because of you use your art on so many different mediums. As you said, glassware, custom glassware, clothing, shoes, you do tattoos, painting. So it's really over a vast different mediums. When did you first realize that you were a creator or that you were an artist?
Actually, when I was in kindergarten.
Wow.
I was at the bank with my dad, and I kept bugging him, and I was like, I painted that. And he was like, if I take you to look at that, will you be quiet? I was like, yeah. So I'm in line, like, jittery and stuff, and he takes me and he's seen my name. He's like, oh my God, you painted that. So till this day, it's in their kitchen. It was like some pandas with like purses or something. But I've always been a creator, like you said, because I don't only stick to one thing. If it could be changed into something, I do it.
Gotcha.
Take things apart, put them back together a different way. So, I mean, I literally was born doing this. And for a while, I neglected it. I was like, I need to get a job with benefits and all this stuff. And I tried, but I wasn't happy. So I started painting, and I just put everything into it, and tattooing, and I literally live off of art. And I feed my family off of it. I have 3 kids.
That's an amazing feeling to know that you can live off of the thing you love.
Yes.
That's awesome. When did you start taking it as a craft? When was that? Was there a moment when you were like, Because some people have that moment, and some people it's a slow moment that.
Yeah, I can say it took me a really long time to just jump in, because I would kind of just do it on the side, and people would be like, "Oh my God, you just did that? You drew that?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and they were like, "Why don't you like do this?" I don't know. I just kind of put it to the side, but I want to say when Trap Art reached out to me, it was Amina, and she messaged me on Instagram. And I want to say it's been 4 years now.
Wow.
So I've been strong for about 4 years. Before that, it was literally just every now and then, and I wouldn't post it. If someone came over and seen it, they were like, "Who did that?" But now that's what I do. That's who I am. I've accepted it, and I thank Trap Art for it.
Yeah, that's amazing that sometimes all it takes is somebody to give you an opportunity.
Yes.
And then once you get that opportunity, you run with it.
Exactly.
So I think that's amazing. When did you start going to the transition of going through different mediums? Like you went from, did you start out with painting and then go to tattooing, or was it the opposite way around?
It started with painting, actually with drawing. And I just used to draw with a mechanical pencil and do really cool stuff with it. And then I went to painting. From painting, when I had my son in 2008, I moved to Texas. I didn't know anybody there. I was so bored. I ordered a tattoo machine on eBay, and I had no idea what I was doing. So I looked it up on YouTube, and then I went to a butcher shop, bought a little pig, and he was tatted up. And from there, so it's been 10 years now that I've been tattooing.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That also shows your drive and determination, because a lot of people wouldn't even have the confidence to get the tattoo machine without knowing how to do it.
Yeah.
So that just, again, it shows your drive and your passion for it. What do your kids feel? How do they take your adaptation to art? Because a lot of parents kind of shy away from that because they want them to go into the more traditional fields.
That's actually so I've always been the type of parent to embrace what they like because of my experience. Like my mom literally just started being like, "This is my daughter, she does tattoos." Before she was like, "This is my daughter, period." Because she was like, "You have a family, you can't do this." But now, I've given her a tattoo.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so she's completely supportive of it. And so my kids are literally like my mini promoters. I've tattooed some of their teachers.
Oh.
They literally are like, "My mom does tattoos and she does art," and they love it. My daughter actually always says she wants to go to college for it.
Oh.
So I always tell them, do it, work for yourself, then you'll have people working for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, again, just seeing you as a positive business entrepreneur, that role model, it just can be eye-opening for them because they know they can do it because they've seen you do it. So that's really positive and great just as for the future, you know, to see people that have that ability. Is there any particular focus for your art at this moment?
So people sometimes ask me what's my style or what is it that I paint. That's always been the hardest question for me because I feel like I could paint anything. If somebody were to ask me to paint them flowers, I could paint them. And there's times when I'm like, I feel like painting, and I stare at this empty canvas because I'm like, what am I going to put on this canvas? Yeah. And for some reason, I always end up painting people. And nobody in particular. It's just, it ends up being a face, and sometimes they're kind of controversial, or like what's going on right now in the world, and they're sometimes political. Or so my children are biracial, so I tend to do a lot of Hispanic artwork, but mixed with Black culture. Okay. Because my daughter, she doesn't even look like me. She looks just like her dad. People have asked me if I'm her babysitter, and I'm like, no, that's my baby.
That's my baby.
Yes. And she's all for it. Like, I always explain to her, you are both. You're Black and brown. And
being able to embrace both sides.
Yes, they love it. So I tend to pour that out a lot in my artwork.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where can people reach to find your art, and if they're interested in getting a tattoo by you?
Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram is the key. That's where I'm mostly at. I have Facebook, but I don't really interact on there very much. But Instagram is the best place.
And for everybody out there, it's _Sarah Tina. That's SarahTina. And We'll have that in the description as well below. So if you didn't catch that down, you don't have to rewind. Just click in the description below, and it'll take you directly there. I wanted to say thank you for taking the time and talking with us. And, next time you do another piece or anything like that, we'd love to have you on for another interview and talk to you more about your artwork. And we're always looking for getting a tattoo. So
yes, let me know. Let me know.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
No problem. I want to say thank you for everybody for listening to another Stay Woke podcast. You know our motto: live, listen to some great music, and above all, love more. We're out.